Now is not the time to panic buy real estate in Canada, or at least not here in my market of Surrey and the Fraser Valley. Now, that might seem like a strange thing to hear coming from a real estate agent like myself, but here on the channel, although I am a real estate bull when it comes to Canadian real estate, I do my best to try and give a measured and honest approach to the market that I do firmly believe in as a great investment. And right now, I'm going to let you know that it's not always the best time to buy, because simply just looking at the numbers, we can tell that the best time to buy over the last 12 months was this past January. Yes, the market is back on the rise quicker than any expert had predicted, including myself. Well, there was that one expert who predicted it correctly, but I'm going to save that for the end of this video. But yes, prices are rising again, and so far in May, there have been almost 200 more sales in my market than this same time last year, and more than 400 less listings, meaning that inventory is going in the wrong direction. Or is it?
I don't know. That's why I'm here to find out.
Because if inventory is getting chewed up now faster than when the market was higher, well, that is what has caused prices to start going up again, and why you might start getting FOMO, or the fear of missing out, as home prices seemingly begin to escape you yet again. But now might not be the right time to panic. I personally think this summer is going to present you with a lot of opportunity if you are looking at purchasing your next place or first place. And I personally do not want you to fall into the spring market trap that is FOMO. And I'm going to tell you all about my reasons for believing this could be the case in today's episode of No, Not All Real Estate Agents Always Say It's a Good Time to Buy. But really quickly before I do, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you would like to stay up to date here on my market of Surrey and the Fraser Valley. And if you think you might actually have FOMO and don't know what to do about it, well, this might be your last chance to click the like button. So please don't miss out and make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And now on to the video all about how there's no need to panic buy right now. And that's because opportunity might just be headed your way. Now, you've probably heard real estate agents across every social media platform or even at cocktail parties talking about the same old thing. And that is that, well, inventory is at an all-time low. And yes, that can be and mostly is a true statement, but that does not mean there won't be more properties coming to the market eventually for you to pick from. In fact, inventory can always be measured in two different ways. The first is the consumption rate, or what you might most often hear referred to as months of inventory. This is simply a measure of the rate of sales versus active listings, which tells you which way the market is heading. So if 1 out of every 3 listings coming to the market sells within a 30-day period, you have 3 months of inventory. 0 to 3 months of inventory is a seller's market, and generally prices are rising. 4 to 5 months of supply on the market is a balanced marketplace, and prices are pretty flat. And usually 6, but for sure 7 months of supply is called a buyer's market, and prices decline. Now, at the peak of 2022, and I'm going to show you those numbers here in a moment, the months of inventory was at crazy lows. But just this last January, it increased to the highest rates that we have maybe seen in years. And then seemingly at the flick of a switch, it dropped right back down again, causing prices to rise. But there is another way to calculate inventory, and that is to look at the actual amount of listings on the market. Here in my market of the Fraser Valley, since I have been in this marketplace, and that was 2008 for those keeping score, usually somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 active listings on the market at one time seems to be a very healthy and stable marketplace, meaning that bidding wars are few and far between. But if you are listed properly, you probably won't receive any lowball offers. And again, the market is quite stable. This is where real estate agents really like to work. We know what properties will sell for, we can tell our buyers what to expect, and everyone can do their due diligence on any purchase that they're trying to make. But that has not been the case over the last little bit. We haven't come close to those numbers. So what I want to do here today is hop into Stats Center, amazing stats provided by the amazing people at the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board. And let's look at the history of active listings on the market to help you decide if you think the market slowdown is coming this summer. All right, so hopping into Stats Center, we start off every time we log into this is the Realtor backend system with price. You can see that we peaked in March of last year. This is all asset classes in all areas of the Fraser Valley, North Delta to Mission, and you can see that we are back on the rise. However, this active listing tab is the one I want to focus on. Now, this graph is the entire Fraser Valley, all asset classes, and it goes back as far as January of 2005. Now, you'll notice that inventory is very bumpy. This is a very continuous trend that you will see each and every year, because usually right around December or January is the bottom of the inventory market. For instance, this number I stopped on right here, December of 2011, there were 6,014 listings on the market when the clock ticked over that month. And then as we keep going, we'll see that the same thing happens the next December and the next December and the next December. And then looking back at those months, we will see that in May 2010, the market capped out, and this was an extreme buyer's market after the financial crisis, at 9,671. The next year after that, it capped out sometime in the summer, July in 2012. And May in 2013. You will see this trend continue almost every single year. And I'm going to zoom in here so you can take a look at the last 5 years. That trend did continue until, of course, we hit this crazy time of March 2020. And we all know why that was. The inventory actually went down and then just continued on as normal. But at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, the active listings on the market dropped down to as low as 1,734 listings. Now, I do want to point something out with this particular number that's here, is this number is not always exactly the same as actives given at any given day on the marketplace, and you're going to see what I mean by that shortly. This is rather a stamp in time at the end of the month to find out how many are on after all those expired listings fall off of the marketplace. A lot of listings that are set to expire and come off of the marketplace are just dated for the end of the month. So that is a function of the market. Nothing we can do about that. It's just a function of signing paperwork. But let's look at what happened after that. So this was the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, when the market was at its absolute craziest. Well, then look at the shoot up from December 2021 till February, went to 3,500. And then when the market kind of stalled out and interest rates started increasing in March, the inventory climbed to 6,500 listings, a spot where I actually feel very, very comfortable working. But why is it that agents say, well, inventory has remained at a record low? Well, let's go back out again and look. 6,500 listings in June of last year was nothing compared to what happened in 2008 at over 10,000, 2010 at 9,600. All of these years previous, we had way more listings on the market. However, let's look at what happened since then. So the market obviously went downwards in price at that point. Months of inventory actually skyrocketed, and I'm going to show you that chart here shortly. However, you will notice something happened this year. At the end of 2022, the regular thing happened. December bottomed. But this talk about no inventory on the market, well, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the first year that I could find where December, January were virtually identical. A tiny tick up in February, March, just a little bit more, and April, it actually declined. Now, again, this is a stamp at the end of the month to see how many properties are still on the market rolling into the new month. So there will be kind of a 5 to 10% fall off each and every month. However, there's a cool thing that we can do, and every real estate agent should be doing this when they log into their computer every single morning. You should be going to Paragon, doing a multi-class search, and I want you to focus on this number up here. Since the last stats report, there has been roughly 700 to 800 active listings added to the market. Now, of course, there are lots of properties rolling over, but currently we are sitting at 4,747 active listings. So finally, we are starting to see that increase in listings. But look at this, we've gone flat for 4 months straight when we should have been seeing this increase. So finally, maybe this increase is coming late, and that should lead us into what could be a little bit of a bloated summer market, meaning that there's a very good chance that prices could stop going up, and particularly if interest rates increase, but more on that in a little bit. The other one I wanted to show you was the sales to active ratio. Now, this is how you calculate months of inventory, except sales to active ratio is a percentage instead of a fraction. So what I wanted to do is show you the absolute crazy peak here in December of 2021. This wasn't the price peak, but this was the peak in how fast properties were turning over. Almost 100% of the properties available on the market that December, they sold, and that's what caused the market to go crazy. But then as this number drops, we go back into a worse market. So on this graph, the lower this number is, the worse, or chances are prices are coming down. Anything below 20%, we're probably going to see prices start to soften. And we got down to 14 and 15% consumption. And then January of this year, we saw the consumption rate start to skyrocket again, and we slipped back into a seller's market, causing prices to increase. But look what happened this last month. The consumption rate stayed fairly flat. And that is, again, because there are more active listings coming to the market, which is nice. They're getting turned over. So the market is still very good. But there are signs that we will have enough listings coming to the market for summer to have prices slow down. Now let's go back to prices really, really quickly. And what I want to do is take a look at the different types of property types all together. And we're going to see what exactly price has done. So the detached market has taken off. I can't believe it. It's skyrocketing really, really quickly. And it is the first one. So I think condos will be going up in value very soon. However, there is a chance that if everything goes just right, this increase will slow down. Meaning that, yes, indeed, you still may pay more in the summer, but you should have more to choose from. And it should be an easier process if my prediction is right. And there is absolutely no guarantee that my prediction is right, but there you have it. It looks like inventory is finally starting to come to the market, and who knows, it might drop off again really quickly as it does every fall, or it could stay flat, which I think is most likely after seeing even further gains, or there is the possibility that it could bloat if inflation does not get under control and interest rates are forced to go upwards again. So let me know what you think is going to happen down below in the comments, because if I'm right, and the market does slow this summer due to increased inventory, well, that means you may not want to panic buy this spring in a FOMO-induced purchase, because the right time to buy real estate is not when everyone else is. It's when you are ready, willing, and able to buy a long-term investment that you should plan to live in or at least own for at least 5 or more years. Oh, and don't think I've forgotten about that person that correctly predicted the bottom of the market, because that person is, in fact, Steve Saretsky, fellow real estate YouTuber who joined me and my friend Tom on our podcast called The Tom Story Show earlier this year. And that episode was titled after one of his quotes, "Canadian real estate buyers waited too long." And if you want to go back and watch that episode, I will link it here and in the description below. And if you're considering getting into the market this summer or selling before the glut of listings come on, well, you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below. Please subscribe, click the like button before you go, and we'll see you in a couple of days.